Money finds its way into our lives long before we can even define it. As kids, we see it all around us. We watch adults whispering about bills, swiping cards at the store, and sighing over envelopes. Before anyone explains what a dollar is, we already feel its weight. We sense the stress, the relief, the hope, and the fear tied to those little pieces of paper and numbers on a screen. In America, money is like a silent narrator of our daily lives. It quietly influences where we live, how long we work, who we marry, and what keeps us up at night. We often think that money decisions are purely logical. Earn more, spend less, save the rest. Simple, right? But real life is messy. We aren't robots. We're emotional, social creatures, and our environment shapes us more than we realize. We don't make financial choices in a sterile lab. We make them in traffic jams, in crowded supermarkets, after exhausting days at work. Think about it. A tired parent clicking buy now at midnight is making a budget decision. They're seeking a moment of relief. A young professional upgrading their phone isn't just buying new tech. They're chasing a sense of belonging, a feeling that they fit in. Here, success is often measured by what people can see. The car in the driveway, the size of the house, the brand of clothes we wear. These outward signals create a quiet but constant pressure to spend, even when it might hurt us down the road. Credit cards make this incredibly easy. They separate the immediate pleasure of buying from the delayed pain of paying. By the time the bill arrives weeks later, the emotional rush is gone, but the cost is very real. This clever delay tricks our brains, making debt feel abstract and distant. Our financial systems are designed for speed and convenience, not for our emotional well-being. Automatic payments, digital wallets, one-click purchases, they all remove friction. And while that saves time, it also removes the chance to pause and think. Without that pause, our habits take over. Once a spending pattern is formed, our brain accepts it as normal, even if it's financially damaging. People don't overspend because they're irresponsible. They overspend because their environment constantly nudges them to do so. Fear is another huge factor. The fear of missing out, the fear of falling behind, the fear of not looking successful. In a culture that celebrates wealth but rarely teaches us how to manage the emotions that come with it, many of us feel a deep sense of shame about our finances. That shame keeps us silent, and silence allows destructive patterns to continue. Bills pile up, not because people don't care, but because facing them feels completely overwhelming. So, we avoid them. But money also carries hope. A paycheck represents our hard work turning into survival. A savings account represents safety and security. Even a small amount of money can give us a sense of control in a world that feels so unpredictable. That's why we cling to it so tightly during uncertain times. Layoffs, medical emergencies, rising prices, these aren't just financial events. They are psychological shocks that change how we think, trust, and plan for the future. At its core, finance isn't about spreadsheets and numbers. It's about human behavior under pressure. It's about how we respond to uncertainty, temptation, and the expectations of others. To truly understand money, we first have to understand ourselves not as flawless decisions. Did you know your money habits weren't built in a day? They're shaped silently, through things you see, things you feel, and things you live through. Because the danger isn't immediate, our brain doesn't sound the alarm. That's why so many of us get a shock when we look at our bank statements. The spending didn't feel huge at the time. It just felt normal. Stress plays a huge role too. When you're feeling overwhelmed, buying something can give you a quick sense of control. It's not about the thing you bought. It's about the feeling of relief. The brain remembers that feeling, and the next time you're stressed, it wants to do it again. This isn't a lack of discipline. It's a human coping mechanism. And it happens at every income level. A bigger salary often just means bigger pressures and bigger expenses. The anxiety is the same. We're constantly comparing our financial lives to our neighbors, our colleagues, and what we see online. The system itself is built for predictability, but humans are emotional and unpredictable. When life gets in the way of our financial plans, we often blame ourselves. We think we're just bad with money. But what if the system wasn't designed for our emotional reality? Shame starts to build in that gap, making us avoid looking at our finances altogether. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. Just understanding that your money choices are driven by emotion, not morality, can change everything. Guilt fades, and curiosity takes its place. You start to see patterns instead of failures, and patterns can be changed. Think about it. Money touches every part of our lives, from our commute to our healthcare. It's exhausting. When we're tired, we just go with the easiest option. This is why our environment is often more powerful than our intentions. The goal isn't to be perfect with money. It's to understand how our human psychology interacts with this complex system. When you see it that way, your behavior starts to make sense. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. You know, once you're an adult, money becomes this constant background noise. It's like a low hum you can never quite turn off. It's there, quietly influencing all these little decisions we make every single day. Decisions we don't even think of as being about money. Like, should I answer that work email late at night? Maybe I should pick up a second job, just for a little extra cushion. Or, that ache in my back isn't so bad. I can probably put off seeing a doctor for a little while longer. These choices feel so personal, like they're just about us and our own limits or ambitions. But really, they're deeply tied to how secure we feel in the world. Especially here in the United States. So much of our stability is connected to our job, our health insurance, our credit score. Because of this system, a quiet hum of money anxiety follows us everywhere we go. It's a constant companion. For so many people, life isn't about being in a full-blown crisis, but it's definitely not comfortable either. It's this weird, in-between space, this state of partial uncertainty. The bills get paid, sure. There's food in the fridge, but there's no real safety net. One unexpected expense, like a major car repair or a sudden medical issue, could completely knock you off your feet. This feeling, this constant, low-level stress, is incredibly draining. It's not just about the numbers in your bank account. It's about the mental and emotional weight it carries. It's this invisible burden that shapes how we experience our lives, how we plan for the future, or if we even feel like we can plan for a future at all. It makes us more risk-averse. It can stifle our creativity, and it keeps us from fully enjoying the present moment because we're always bracing for what might happen next. It's a heavy topic, but it's a reality for so many. Thanks for listening. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more conversations like this.